Everybody, Mama Vi here. I was just tripping down amnesia land, memory lane to some of you, and I thought I'd take you with me for a minute. I've just gotten off a Zoom with a very ambitious young next generation who wants to start helping with the library website and getting information up on it that would be a look at the past as well as good information for the next generation. And they asked me about newsletters. I started to try and explain the whole concept of the newsletter phenomenon and what it was like for us to communicate before the internet, before email, and so on. And to some extent, even working side by side with the few magazines that were for us and by us, like the Leather Journal and Samotopia Guardian, and for our brothers in uniform and Dungeon Master and things like that. And the most common way that we all kept up with each other, different clubs and different organizations, was through newsletters. Clubs sent them out anywhere from once a month if they were ambitious to once a quarter, and they exchanged them with other individuals as well as with other clubs. And it's been a long time since I've been down about 10 of the notebooks that we have like this. And I was looking at all of the amazing information that newsletters contained. It was not so much that it would warrant an article in the Leather Journal, mostly because there were a lot of short articles that were either unique to an area or unique to the club, what the club was doing, what runs the club had been on, what other groups they had interacted with, and the fun that had been had. And then a number of states began to do the same thing. States like New Mexico. And I was giggling about this one. Let me see if I can hold that one up for you. This was 1996. And if you're curious about what a very young Leslie Anderson looks like, oh, there we go. That's Leslie. I think the New Mexico newsletter ran for about a year and a half, just full of wonderful information about the community. One of the articles on the cover is welcoming Reverend Pat Langlois and her then partner, Pat Bailey. Pat had just been appointed to her new position as the pastor of the Albuquerque Metropolitan Community Church. And a story about welcoming them is there, because that was one of the things New Mexico was doing, or the very early newsletters of men of all colors together from Charlotte. Or now, you want to talk about a walk down amnesia land. Volume 1, Issue 1 of the AMCC's newsletter, and all of the wonderful things that were in here, including an announcement about Bear Fest from the Highwaymen TNT and the fact that they were going to go on that club run, and so on and so forth. They even talked about what their brother club, the Nighthawks, was doing. Now, lest you think women weren't involved in that, here's one from SLAP. Now, for those not familiar with that acronym, because I don't think SLAP has been around in 20 years, it was Southern Leather Lesbians at Play. Their newsletter, as well as their calendar. Now, there are a number of wonderful women's groups that are now down in the Florida area, including Wolf. But I think Wolf is only about 10 or 11 years old, whereas this newsletter from SLAP is from the 90s. A lot of good stuff, a lot of amazing history, a lot of conversations and goings on with people, places, things. They were all put in club newsletters. And the library is privileged to have a lot of them. And we're always looking for more because it is where we've come from. It is the history of a lot of the clubs that were the foundations and cornerstones for leather folk in the 80s, 90s, even into the mid 2000s before the internet took over. And for those who want to know, until we can get these up online, come on down to the library and read. But just as important, if you find old newsletters, old in the back of a closet from one of your club brothers, or in an estate sale somewhere, grab them. Either send them to the library or start local libraries of your own so that you can keep all of this valuable information. Anyway, enough of me tripping down memory lane for now. More later.